Hi guys, today just a quick video on how to check if your anodes are still doing the job in protecting your boat, protecting all metal components of your boat. A few weeks ago I wrote an article in Practical Sailor magazine, you may have seen it, about anodes and what they're supposed to be doing, the different types of anodes. But what I'm getting a lot of messages back is say, hey, how do you actually check the anodes and see if they're good? Because sometimes, you know, they might look terrible, but they're good or not. So the way you do it is you just get yourself a multimeter. It doesn't have to be an expensive one. You can buy a very inexpensive one, because what we're looking for is a very basic measure, which is continuity. We want to make sure that the metal here on your propeller shaft, for example, or any other metal component that requires an anode, whether it's an outboard motor or whatever, make sure that there's connectivity going on between both. If I don't have it, that means I got to remove it, either replace it or clean the inside of both the surface of the prop shaft as well as the inside of the anode. So to do that, by the way, any multimeter you get either on Amazon or your local auto shop or whatever, or hardware store, will have them in the electrical department. Read the instructions, and what you're looking for is continuity. In my case, this is the model that I have here, so I'm going to bring it down to what is the conductivity here. And to test it, I'm going to start with just touching the shaft of both in two locations to make sure that this is properly working. So to do that, I'm just going to hold it here. You might hear the sound. Hopefully you will. That will confirm that there is contact. There you go. So that's telling me that there's contact here. Now I'm going to touch the anode. I'm going to dig in a little bit into the dirt here, into the little bit of a surface oxidation or rust or whatever, and then touch the metal. So I'm just going to start by just scraping it so I can get in there and touch it. And I'm not getting any connectivity. So I know this anode has got to be serviced, either replaced or serviced. Like I said, sand the inside a little bit, sand the thing. I like putting a little dielectric grease inside before I put the anode on, just to, really optimize that connectivity. Now I'm going to test this one over here, and it's the same thing. Yeah. Oh, actually, no, I am getting something. So this one is good. This one needs to be looked at. Let me try it again. Yeah. So this one's hesitating a little bit, so I'm not going to take any chances. The boat's out of the water. It's a beautiful day today. So I'm going to remove both of them, actually service them, just sand the inside, and all I have is just, an old piece of sandpaper that's worn out. And I'm just going to sand the inside of the anode, the surface of my prop shaft. Then I'm going to install it back on. Like I said, I'm going to put a little dielectric grease on the shaft where the anode goes to optimize the connectivity. So I'm going to take care of that, and I'll get back to you in a minute. All right, so before I take them off, I just wanted to show you, because some of them might ask me, I have two anodes. I have one forward of the cutlass bearing and one in the back of the cutlass bearing. That was recommended by a lot of people and all that. So any kind of line that comes through a fish net or mooring line or whatever, or just weeds, it won't get jammed up around the cut. It'll just slice the hell out of it. These happen to be Silca Sea Shield anodes that have a stainless steel blades, and they're really sharp. Actually, you got to really be careful. And I've gone through a couple of places in the Thousand Islands in Ontario, up in New York, where it was just weeds, and a few boats actually got jammed up. Whereas we was just going right through, and all I could see behind the boat was just a milkshake of weeds and all that. Nothing stopped us. So I always recommend that. Just make sure that you leave yourself enough room so that the water can access the cutlass bearing, because that's where this cools down the propeller shaft. So this cutlass bearing is made sure that it's maintaining the alignment, if you will, but also it needs to be cooled down. So if you were to put an anode too close to the cutlass bearing, you might limit the amount of water going in there. So it's not bad if you're just going in and out of the harbor and you don't do long trips, but if you're doing 2-3 days of, say, 8 hours or 6 hours of motoring, this is going to get hot if there's not enough water. The second thing I wanted to mention also is you'll notice that I keep it close. Some of them have them like a little further up. Now I happen to have a short shaft. Some guys have longer shaft. I purposely By the way, the original boat, when I bought it, had one right here, which is perfect. Because I've seen boats where the anode was a little further up along the shaft, and for some reason, the prop shaft disconnected from its flange, it's connected to the transmission, and the prop shaft just slid right out, or out enough to cause a problem here. So your anode should also help you. So should that ever happen and your propeller shaft slips out, the anode will be stopped by the cutlass bearing, and you want to make sure not a lot of it goes out, because if it happens to come out of the tube or out of your stuffing box, water will come in the boat. Now you have another problem to deal with. So that's my little take on that. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove. So this is actually two halves. So I have a screw here and I have a screw on the other side. I'll just turn the prop when I'm ready, and I'll remove it. And then I'll show you a close-up of what this is. Actually, let me do that right now. Let me just flip the camera. All right, so there it is. So there's the Selka Sea Shield. So there are the two halves here. I have a 1-inch shaft, but they're available in all sizes. And this is the stainless steel blade right here. It's extremely sharp, by the way, guys. So I've cut myself a few times just installing it. And there's the other one. Now that I'm thinking about it, by the way, I find this is a little too close. Maybe I am stopping some water. So I'm going to move it up probably about half an inch out this way when I reinstall it. All right, so I've got them. I've got the anode removed. So here, I'll just show you both halves here. So as you can see, there is, corrosion there. I could feel there's like a powder. That's preventing a good contact, good connectivity. So at this particular point, the anode wasn't doing much. Now, we're sort of lucky at our yacht club. We don't have electricity on the dock, so there's not much that's really affecting our anodes at our yacht club. But when we travel, if we happen to be at another yacht club, with a reciprocal or whatever, and they have electricity on their docks, there is going to be connectivity between boats that are plugged into their shore power. So that's what this is aimed to protect. And then you'll see here, let me just turn the camera around. There you go. You'll see where the anode was. So there's where I got to clean that up to make sure there's a good contact. And there you go. So let me start sending that, and then we'll reinstall it. All right. So the back part of the propeller shaft is nice and clean. I can see the original surface of the metal. So now I'm going to go ahead and attack the anodes. And for this, I'm actually going to go in our shop here at the Yacht Club, because we do have a wheel grinder that has the grinder stone on one side and the metal brush on the other side. So I'm just going to do it on there, and I'll redo the surface at the same time. So I'm not going to bore you with those details, but I'll be right back. All right, so I finished grinding the anodes, and it went well. Now I'm going to have a really nice contact on my propeller shaft. I did sand down everything here. All this is nice and clear. I put a coat of dielectric grease on the inside of each anode, each half. But I'm going to show you something. Now remember, these are, believe it or not, 10 years old. And I'm in freshwater, and I'm at a yacht club that does not have electric power at the slips, or at each boat, if you will. So longevity of the anode is well, that's the benefit, right? Or that's the advantage there. So if you're in salt water, or you're in a yacht club that has electricity, and your boat or your neighbor's boats are always plugged into the shore power, you want to make sure that your anodes are in good shape or whatever. But you'll notice mine, like I said, these are two halves, stainless steel, but you see the little bolts there that hold the stainless steel blade? Yeah, they're a little bit worn out. Let me see if I can show you another one right there. So what I'm probably going to do, I mean, the anodes are still very good. There's a lot of life left in these, and I did grind them down back to the surface of the metal, removed all the surface oxidation and or rust, whatever it is that you want to call that. But I think probably maybe another 3 years or so, I'll probably buy new ones, just because I like I like things to look new. But these are going to be fine. There's lots of life left in these. But keep an eye on your anodes, guys, because that's what's saving you from any other metal component in your engine. You may have a metal rudder. A lot of boats have metal rudders, but make sure that when you put the anodes on that you're having a really good contact. So if you have a rudder or other metal components that have an anode, some of them, sometimes they're on your keel, so look, or your hull, so look at them as well. Make sure that you're not attaching the anodes on top of a surface coating like a anti-fouling or paint or whatever. It really should be touching metal to metal. The anode should be touching the metal to have the best thing. So I'm going to go ahead and put my anodes back on. Like I said, the one over here in front of the cutlass bearing, I'm going to make it a little bit further to allow for more water, probably about a ½ inch, no more than that, maybe 3/4 of an inch. Just allow more water, and that's it, guys. So guys, it's an easy job, easy thing to do, to just keep an eye on anodes and replace them as needed. It'll save you a lot of headaches in the future. I just realized all this would be for nothing, this video, I mean, if I didn't show you the final result. So I don't know if you guys can hear the thing. It's very windy, but I'm going to show you. So now I'm back on connectivity. So now I'm going to go ahead and check, and you remember that it never buzzed before. There was no contacts, and now just do. So if you can hear that, and there's my connectivity. Now I'm going to try the second one here. There you go. So that's it. So now I know that they've been cleaned and the contact is good, and my prop shaft is now protected. So that's it, guys. Take care of yourselves and take care of the boat. Remember, do me a favor, like the video and do subscribe. And you know what? Share it if you will. That would be great. I'd love to see more subscribers, and I really enjoy doing these things with you guys. So, and if you guys have a better way or something else, let me know too. I'm really interested in seeing what you guys do.